The 2022 Rolex 24 is just around the corner, so I wanted to take the time and revisit the 2016 race, where the closest finish in the event's history happened, and one of my personal favorite Rolex 24 moments. This whole video specifically focuses on the GT Le Mans class, as the other classes in the race weren't really close at the finish, but the GT Le Mans one was pretty epic. The build up to the whole thing started with just under 52 minutes left in the race. The 912 Porsche with Earl Bamber was leading, the number 4 Corvette of Oliver Gavin, and both of them were stretching fuel as far as they can so they can make one more stop and be done with pitting for the rest of the race. But for both cars, it would be very, very close. The 912 Porsche pitted with an 8-second lead on the number 4 Corvette, but after the cycle of pit stops, they would come out right on top of each other.
So with a giant smile on their faces, clean stop for the 4 crew.
I think the answer has been given with that stop. The other thing, if he hadn't hit reserve, that's less fuel they have to put in, and they can fill it up, and he can turn it full rich, and he can go.
I think the 4 car is gold, and the 3 car will assume the lead, of course, but he's going to need a good splash of fuel, plus the 30 seconds driving down pit lane.
And the 4 car beat the 912 out, and he's hung up. The Porsche is behind that prototype challenge machine. Oh, it's going to be very close by the time they get down into the hairpin. Here comes Bamber.
Bamber's got to go for it right now. He's got to attack. He's got to attack.
Hot tires versus cold. Decisive moment.
He's got to go. He's just got to maintain the track position.
As you heard in the clip there's a third car in the equation, the number 3 Corvette. They were running on a different strategy and could go much further on fuel than these two, and would make a pit stop much later. The 3 car would assume the lead until it had to make a pit stop as well. But in the meantime, Gavin was catching the Porsche of Earl Bamber and putting immense pressure on him.
Telling Antonio he has to hit pit.
Oh,
Bamber's really wide there, really deep.
Looks like he locked it up, Cal.
He did. And Ollie Gavin's right there. He's going to try and pounce here, I think. Bamber's going to defend vigorously. He knows this is for the Rolex.
And not only is this for the Rolex, but think about the season for the last couple of years that Tommy Milner and Ollie Gavin have had stateside. They had the win at Le Mans last year. They need to win some races. There's not a better one to win over on this side of the pond than the Rolex 24.
That's a good point. They watched last year their teammates in the other car win this in Sebring and go on to a near championship run as well.
And it's not just been getting results. They haven't had performance, period.
Yeah, true. That's
so they've had the speed today, and that's what they were looking for.
And here comes the number 3, Garcia, onto the limiter in pit lane as we watch that battle. And boy, I'll tell you, Gavin there.
In a pretty good gap.
Garcia had built that gap to 51 seconds. This is going to be close. You lose about 30 seconds down pit lane. Garcia had the hammer down. He's going to have fresh tires. You've got to get him up to temp.
Jamie?
Well, in talking with Dan Beeks, you know, the radio chatter is, are we going to take tires? Are we not going to take tires? The team decided it's the only chance that they have. By their calculations, should this stop go perfectly, they're just going to be within 5 seconds of track time with all 3 of those cars. He said we're going to have those fresh Michelins. Very clean stop for Antonio Garcia.
It was, and that is what that team does. This is going to be fascinating to see. Look in the background. Here they come into the tri-oval. Very close.
Really close. I think he's going to do it.
He's at the line.
I think they're going to get by him, I think. I think they're going to get by him, but Garcia's going to have fresh tires. They're not going to be up to 10.
There they go. There they go.
Go get them.
I think you hit it, Cal. Fresh tires. Once they come up to temp, the war in GT Le Mans is on. Porsche, Corvette, and Corvette. It doesn't get any better than this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, as we are heading toward the final half hour at the 2016 Rolex 24 at Daytona. And we have a new leader in GT Le Mans. This is the number 4 Corvette, and it came with a little bit of contact, guys.
Little bump and run right here from Ollie Gavin. Little Dale Earnhardt Sr. rattling his cage there.
That was more than a rattle.
Neil Bamber got on the radio and said, "What was that?" And the team responded, "This is for the win. That's what that was all about. Go get him."
And watch this side by side. Listen to the radio.
With the 4 and the 912 battling on track and the 3 putting down some crazy lap times, the 3 Corvette was able to make up a ton of time. He still lost the lead at the exit of the pits and a little bit of time while his tires were taking time to get up to temperature, but he was still right in the hunt. As also the number 4 Corvette put the bumper to the back of the Porsche to move him out of the way NASCAR style. The race stewards reviewed it and they took no action, said it was good hard racing, which I completely agree with. Fast forward a little bit later, with only 23 minutes left to go, the number 3 Corvette was making use of his fresher tires and caught the number 912 Porsche and was ready to make its move.
There's Earl Bamber, and he is being hounded now by the number 3 of a flying Antonio Garcia. And Jamie, you just told us that there was a bit of a concern and a warning to Antonio.
Yeah, there was. The team just told him, don't rough up that Porsche at all. Gavin already did that. We don't want any retaliation at the end of this race. So they did warn him about getting physical out there.
And he comes through as clean as you can imagine. Great move there by Garcia. It is Corvette, and Porsche now. How quickly things can change.
Now, when you said he's flying, he is flying.
Yeah.
44 flat the lap before.
As we said, this is the real BOP right now. You're going to see how fast these GTLM cars can go.
And Garcia has fuel to burn.
Exactly, and that's the fastest lap that car certainly has turned.
It's the fastest GTLM lap of the day.
Yeah, oh boy.
And so now it's 3.1 seconds. Took him a little bit, he lost a little to get around Bamber, but there's a lot of time left.
With approaching 22 minutes left in the race, the number 3 Corvette made its charge towards its teammate and caught him with about 15 minutes left in the race. I'll let you watch from here and enjoy.
With less than 15 minutes to go at the Rolex 24 at Daytona in GTLM, the battle for the win is all Velocity Yellow and Chevrolet Corvette. Welcome back to Daytona and the World Center of Racing. And Tommy, the question is, are they going to race?
Well, during break, we got the answer to that. Both drivers were told you are allowed to race, which is a bit of a surprise to me. But, I mean, the laps at Garcia, it's at 44.1, 44.2, 44.1, right at fast race lap. Incredible. Now, he's got to get by cleanly because that would be an absolute disaster. If they're allowed to race and it ends poorly, that'll be the last time.
Yeah, for sure. But how badly does this 4-car want to win? They have gone on a drought. Mosport 2013 was their last victory on U.S. soil.
Well, what were they told? Not too much risk. Define that. What's your opinion of too much risk? So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But remember last year, Greg, teammates had a coming together and someone else won.
Exactly. It was a big moment. Obviously the Porsches came together. Big problems here. Nice job there, by the way, the number 11. That has been a car that has been awfully quick. And he just moved over the way. That's Townsend Bell. Class act. Good driver, knew the game here and let these two guys through to be able to battle after it here. And now they've got a little bit of clear track.
Yeah, it was Corvette that was the beneficiary last year. The Porsches getting together. We've got a Porsche sitting third. What happens if the 2 yellow vets get together?
This is just a little later in the game.
Yeah, a little later in the game, yeah.
Just up the road is, I think, the 911 Porsche.
I think I just put Mosport in the U.S. by the way.
I was just going to say, I was going to give you a lesson. You were co-opting Scotland for England earlier. So.
Well, and earlier we heard the suggestion to put Ron Fellows on Mount Rushmore. So,
well, there was that one, but that comes from Justin. So
I think if Trump becomes president, he's going to negotiate to buy both Canada and Mexico. So that could happen yet. Light up Twitter for me. Roast me on that one, folks.
Oh boy, let's talk about roasting here. This is getting as hot as it possibly can. He sure did.
Yeah.
And the draft.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Guessing he's going to have to go around the long way around, though.
As you said, was low risk.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
Oh, good stuff.
Ollie's probably saying, are you kidding me? You're going to let us race?
And Ollie not going to let him go. And you can't go beneath that apron line. So no option there for Garcia but to go high. But now sold him a little dummy, tried to get down underneath. Gavin having none of that.
Can't get it stopped.
In there, he's going to wash out a little bit there. Nice job by Ollie Gavin there controlling the situation. Traffic, though, is the factor, how he controls the traffic.
Fuel and tires. Garcia has fuel to burn, and he's got fresher tires.
That's, I think, going to be the story here. But we've seen Ollie Gavin work some magic in the past as well. But boy, Antonio, Tommy, you were talking about it. he is something very, very special.
Yep.
And a couple of years ago, a drive he put on to hang on to the lead at Circuit of the Americas, I asked Doug Feehan, I said, so was that not one of the most amazing drives? And Feehan looked at me and said, the guy's mega, and this is going to be fun.
Now, I'll check to find out if they did a timed fill on the 3 car, because if they put just enough fuel in to they did. So he's working with about a 30-pound weight advantage because he's that much lighter than Ollie Gavin.
They certainly didn't top him off. They'd have put enough in because the time it takes to put the 4 tires on would have been more than enough fuel that they needed to get into the checkered flag.
By the way, they just told the 44, we need you to start saving more fuel. And Babini has closed it up.
Look at the draft.
Very close.
Look at that,
Look
Garcia.
This.
Garcia could see that prototype coming. He thought, if I can get underneath him, and if he opens the door, I can go with him. Really savvy driving by Garcia there. Didn't quite come off, but I love it.
Oh, he gets a
run. He gets a tremendous run, Brian.
And shuts the bottom lane off.
This is just fantastic. 2 of the absolute best in the world. And 2 of the most amazing pieces of equipment you can imagine right now. And as I mentioned, that GT Daytona lead, Ras now 1.4 seconds clear of Babini in the Huracan. And now Garcia swings high. And let's see if he can make it work from the outside here. Gavin going to go in very, very deep. You know, traffic! And it looked for a minute like a pick may have been placed there. We'll see what happens here. Still more traffic to deal with. No place to go. And that worked to Gavin's advantage this time.
It's always harder to be the first car because you got to commit sooner than the other guy.
The other key is some of the faster traffic coming through. If they dive down the inside of Gavin, that can open up the door for Garcia as well. It's just not Gavin dealing with the slower traffic in front of him.
Boy, this is going to be fun. By the way, we just heard that the Magnus team radioed Rast and said, you've got to let the 28 go by. We don't have fuel to race them. Let them go.
JB Justin Bell reported that the 28 car believed they were not good on fuel. So the car that's putting the pressure on for the GTD lead believes they are not good on fuel. So we see them make the move.
And there he goes, Babini getting the run, and Rast driving to that fuel number had nothing for him. And a Lamborghini Huracan, the first time running in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in GT3, leading with under 10 minutes to go.
Or is that a brilliant move by Magnus to say, go right ahead. We don't think you've got the fuel either. Go ahead, run the pace and run out.
I mean, we knew Babini, that was a bit tight for the Conrad crew as well. You're absolutely right.
They pitted 1 lap later, Greg, than the 44 car. But again, they don't know what fuel mileage exactly the Lamborghini can achieve, being in the Audi camp, of course.
Well, as fast as it goes.
Oh, and a run here.
He's got a good run this time.
He almost snuck under him.
Yeah, he did.
This is a little bit like restrictor plate racing.
And Gavin going to be protecting that inside big time. Oh, but now Gavin, he floats out, and for just an instant, I thought Garcia might just duck down underneath. But again, I think that's that risk thing that they're talking about. And we got confirmation, you guys were spot on, Brian, that that is exactly what the 44 team was thinking. They aren't confident at all that the 28's got the fuel.
Jim Campbell, Mark Royce, everybody at GM, Pratt and Miller are incredibly proud and incredibly nervous.
And incredibly brave.
It's not going to take much. Bamba's still there. He still sits 6 seconds behind. You can see him in the frame there.
Yeah, any kind of incident here.
Well, that's something that could change the program if he can get up there and start pressuring the 3.
7.5 minutes to go. Up onto the banking, the Turner BMW up front. Who will that benefit? Obviously, Gavin flashing the lights.
Yeah, look at this. Garcia's got another run. He's really pulling that draft from about 5 car lengths back, it looks like.
And Gavin underneath. Both of them diving down underneath. But boy, this is as close as Garcia's been coming out of the bus stop, guys. Here he comes. What a run.
I think he's going to need traffic.
I think so, too. And the longer we go, the more the advantage of the tires is going to go away because he's just pounding on those Michelins right now.
Oh, he's looking at the inside. Ollie doesn't give him a lane. You can't pass underneath that yellow stripe.
Oh, and again he looks. Gavin,
he's opening the door. Be careful, Ollie. He's going to open it.
Well, what Ollie's doing is he's actually giving himself the angle so he can be flatter under braking, have the car a little bit flatter. He's leaving it open. It's a risk.
by the way, an update from the pits on the 28 Lamborghini Babini. They said we're running on air, not even fumes. They are that tight right now.
And behind those guys, Babini leads from Ras, but now Stanaway sits 11 seconds back of those two, and Katzberg putting the pressure on for the final spot on the podium, which could be more if these guys run into fuel issues.
Through the kink for the two Corvettes into the West Horseshoe, feeding the throttle up into turn 6. Crucial corner. This leads up onto the banking. It's all about the drive off of this one, and looked like Ollie got a pretty good run there, guys.
Good run that time. Think about this, 23 hours, 54 minutes down, and this is what we've got at the end. Unbelievable.
And whatever happens here for the 4 squad, they want that win desperately, but it is so cool to see them back on the pace once again.
Well, and this is not set up artificially by a yellow.
No.
You know,
this is racing.
This is racing.
By the way, just to let everybody watching know, not missing anything in prototype, it's still Durrani in the number 2, almost 20 seconds clear now of Angelelli, and in prototype challenge, it is still the 85. Kenton Cook put behind the wheel of that JDC Miller Motorsports machine and leading by a handful of laps still. So that's it. But look at the battle in GT Daytona as Ras now able to come back on the 28, and we know that 28 is struggling mightily.
And Stanaway has hit the pits. The car was just in front of Katzberg. So if these guys run out, Stanaway ran out. He stopped on the same lap as the Magnus Audi.
Boy, I'm sorry, guys. I just, again, you saw the number 4 of Gavin just float up a little bit. And for a moment, Garcia looked to go underneath. A little wiggle that time from the back of the number 4. Does Garcia now have enough to do something down into the hairpin? You know that Gavin is going to protect. Boy, Antonio had a great run. Just nowhere, nothing he could do.
Well, for Rene Rast, he's had success here, but he did lose a real heartbreaker here on fuel strategy. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. And so he's been in this position before in the GTD battle. We're looking on the left side of the screen.
Look at Garcia.
Boy, he's trying to just get enough along the outside to be able to.
He's pretty close to the point where Gavin's going to have to give him room.
I think that's his entire plan, wasn't it, to get up there and have Gavin
got a good run.
Shallow that exit up. Here we go. This time, you're right, Brian. Garcia much closer on the run out.
Oh, he's got to go low. He's got to go low.
He's got to stay left.
Yep.
And that's gonna shallow up the run into the bus stop.
Gavin protects. Ooh, Garcia now pops to the outside, but Gavin's got that.
Man.
It's so hard to hit your marks when you're approaching these corners from the other side of the road. It's so easy to get it wrong. You lose all your reference points.
Yep. Car brakes a little bit differently if you're going on diagonal, a little bit different weights. I mean, he's pushing the limits of being reactive, but I think Bo Barfield's going to let Doug Feehan handle that.
He says, I don't need to officiate this one.
And
28 is out.
Garcia. Oh, 28 out of fuel. And Rast has been told to coast as much as he can as well.
Look at this.
Garcia now along the outside. And that run allows him to take it down.
Can he stop it? No.
Oh, he's going to get inside. He's going to get him. Gavin gets it back.
Through.
Awesome stuff.
Fantastic.
Oh. E for effort.
Now, what can Garcia do with the 90, and can he follow him through, as you guys said, because right behind him.
Let 90 be the fullback.
I'll tell you what, Ollie Gavin knows how that one worked out the last time. I'm sure he's not going to.
Yeah, if there was any doubt as to how serious Antonio Garcia was going to be, there's no doubt anymore.
But white flag for our overall leader next time by.
The question mark is he going to get in front of these two Corvettes before he takes the checkered flag? Otherwise, they're going to have to do another lap, which will be great for us, not good for Ollie Gavin.
Is the Audi slow? No. Now, is Rene Rast? Yes, he's slow
as well. So this could fall into the Katzberg seat. Sorry, I had to borrow it from you there, Tommy.
Twice, Rene Rast a lap from victory.
And suddenly Garcia, he's the one that got hung up, Brian, behind that number 90 Corvette, DP. And it cost him a little bit here.
Cost him a ton.
Thanks, fellow Corvette.
The overall leader is just going down towards the bus stop chicane.
It's 24 from Daytona and out of the banking. Here we go. This is GT Le Mans at its finest. These two Corvettes side by side at the line. It is Gavin and Corvette feet over the team car of Antonio Garcia. 34 1/1000ths of a second as Corvette goes 1-2 here at Daytona. Look at that margin of victory. Phenomenal.
You may expect that in the Daytona 500,
Exactly.
but after 24
What
hours,
a picture.
and you saw Dan Binks there with a smile on his face, not because he finished second, but because they raced all the way to the checkered flag.
Well, there you have it, the closest finish in Rolex 24 history between the two Corvette Racing Chevrolets. Probably the most iconic IMSA team out there, so I don't think there is a team that could have been a better fit for this to happen. It's just remarkable that after 24 hours that it would come down to 3400ths of a second, which is just absolutely crazy. This will forever live on as one of my favorite IMSA moments, and the 2022 field is looking to be fantastic, so hopefully we can have another finish like this, especially with the newly formed GTD Pro category that should have some fierce competition, and I'm really excited to see how those guys race come the end of the month. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel for more great motorsports content just like this. Giving the video a thumbs up helps me a lot as well. I really appreciate the support. And my social media links are down in the description below, so feel free to follow me and connect with me on there. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Take care, everybody.